Hello guys, welcome to AR Tutorials. Today is day 23 of solving LeetCode questions daily. Friends, as you all know, couple of weeks back we have started with our array series, and it's been almost 2 weeks that we are solving all types of array question. We have solved a large spectrum of questions which includes array medium, hard and easy level questions. Although we have completed the sorting and searching techniques, we are now completing the array medium level questions which are most frequently asked in the interviews. Now this question is basically a interview based question. It will not be seen in any coding or aptitude round, though it might seem, but it's a rare frequency chances. But interview, yes, of course, this question you need to know because it's a GFG medium level question also available on LeetCode. But this type of question is always asked due to a high logical thinking and consequences are required. And if the interviewer thinks that you are capable enough to solve this question, you have a high thinking ability. So I'll tell you all the approaches which I know, and I'll tell you the most optimal amount of time required. All the space complexities we'll be discussing, all types of interview questions also. So stay tuned. So friends, what we have to do in this question, we have given an array. So this is an array and we have given an 8. This is the size. So we have to return the how many numbers will required to complete an subarray which can give you the maximum sum 0. We have to achieve with sum 0. How many elements are required? Now here friends, you can see that only here are 2, minus 2 and 2. Here are some, okay, let me just erase it and zoom it first so that you can clearly visible. Okay, nice. Friends, so what happens here? You have given an array. So what happens when we are only told to find the sum 0, then we'll return only this, or we'll return only this. But we don't want to do that. We have to return a fully fledged array whose sum is 0. When you will just do 2, then minus 2, then minus 8, then plus 1 and plus 7. What it happens? It happens 8 and 8 get cancelled, and minus 2 and 2, it all becomes 0. But what's a fun fact? It really belongs to the two parts. That this part specifically becomes 0 and this also. But we don't have to return it individually. We have to count it as a 1. Only and only if they are contiguous in the nature. If they are not contiguous, then you have to just leave it, because we only have to think about the contiguous subarrays which can produce maximum sum of 0. So why it has given the output 0? Is there an element 0? No. This question basically tells you just return the count of elements which required to make the sum 0, not the specific element required in the vector. Are you getting my point? I hope so. Because when you count all the elements, it becomes 5. That means there are 5 elements involved in this array, which basically leads to sum 0, and that is the largest number of elements. So that is our technique which we are going to follow. And I directly wanted you to show the code, because if we directly jump towards solving or something, I think first knowing the code in depth and then solving will give you the better approaches, because I used to do that and I have really seen a great enhancement. So we'll just see the code what we have done. So as you all know that we have to find the sum 0. So basic and first approach would be pre-sum logic, and yes, pre-sum logic is the most optimal one, and I guarantee you, if any kind of question which requires sum, try go with the pre-sum logic. Now let me show you a quick flashback what is a pre-sum logic. So pre-sum logic is nothing but just you have to sum the previous element unless and until you check the next one. Are you getting my point? Because first you have to do the sum, check whether it fits or not. If fits, then go further. If not, then try another condition. it is very simple to implement and very simple to use also. Logic is also built with this type of questions. So what we will do, we'll just create a map. Why map? Basic knowledge. We are using hashing technique. If you don't know hashing, I really recommend you that go and watch my hashing lecture. I have taken a very vast lecture on hashing. I have completed all the aspects. I have taken array hashing. Here we are using map hashing. I have also discussed map hashing in that class. If not, I'll just tell you what is map hashing. Map is basically a container which has two elements each, int and int. One would be key and other would be a value. And yes, I have discussed very depth of this topic in that class. Please go and watch my hashing lecture. And after, why we are doing hashing? Because we want to store what is our length. So second element of what would be the key? Key would be prism, and what would be the value? Value would be length. Are you getting? Very easy. So let's move to the first loop. Loop will go towards n, because of course we have to traverse whole array. Then we'll do prism. This is the prism logic which I have taken. First we have to calculate the prism. Prism we have first declared as 0. We'll first add whatever elements are there in my array. I'll add and then check. First I'll check whether it is 0. If 0, kudos, I have got my answer. If I have got my answer, I'll just return I plus 1. I is my index. Iterator. Iterator starts from 0 to n. I don't want 0th index. I want 1 index. So plus 1 and give maximum element. If not, check map. I have discussed this function in hashing lecture. I please recommend you, please watch that lecture. I have given you what is the find function, what is the end function. Very easy implementation. I have explained every single bit there. Please go and watch. It is just not, I'll give you a brief. If whatever I am finding is not pointing to end, what means that it is inside that container. Inside that container means what? My prism has been there in this container. Then I'll just find what is the maximum, because I have to return the maximum length. I'll just make everything okay, that what is max function I'll use maxi, and I minus whatever the value of prism it is there, I'll just minus it. Why? Because I is the iterator, and iterator minus whatever the value of length it is there, we'll just minus to get whatever the maximum element is there. And what is the else part? Else part is just whatever you have got. This basically condition doesn't mean that you are inserting any prism length. No. Map function, what it is does, MPP is my map name, prism is the key, and whatever the value would be there, it will be replaced with I. Are you getting my point? Key value pairs are stored in the map data structure. If you do like this, and suppose M is my map, it does what? It searches the key inside the container, and wherever he finds, he just replaces its variable of value with V. Are you getting my point? Very easy. I have already told you that this is gonna be a super interesting lecture, and hashing is very important. So I think we have completed else part also. So we'll move towards the next. Okay, wait. Okay, so else nothing, man, just return. I have completed all the cases. I have checked if it is 0, just do maxi plus 1. If whatever my prism is found, why I am finding that if it is there in my array, but still I am getting new elements with sum at 0, then why not to go for a big length? Just go there and have that previously implemented prisms there and upload it. This is the simple logic, and using this you can solve your interview, and interview will be damn happy. I'm very sure of that. So this is going to be the rule. Yes, and then what we'll do, we'll just return, and I think we have got the answer. So I'll just again show you what we want to do. We want to go give this array, because they have sum is equal to 0, and we have completed all the tasks. We have completed. If it is 0, return my index, because my index is I and it starts from 0, but I want it from 1, so I'll add 1. If my prism is 0, or whatever my prism is there, I'm checking if it is there inside my map. If it is there, that means its sum is there. And then what I'll do, I'll just maximize it with the perfect value. And then in else part, what I'll do, if nothing happens to me, then what happens? Then map in that pre-sum value, I'll just put the value as the iterator and return maxi. Very easy, a very hard level question you have solved. If you really clicked up this type of approaches in front of the interview, I really tell you that you will surely impress your interviewer. It is very good approach because you are solving this with O of n complexity. We are only traversing once, my dear friends, and we are solving with O of n complexity. And what is our SC? SC is what we have used. We have used a map, and what we have to return, a index. So index is an int, and we have map. So yes, we have written used a extra space. So we'll just do O of n because we were just storing the elements inside it. So this is our time complexity, very good time complexity. But this question can't be solved below it. It can't be solved using only one data structure. We have to use an additional data structure also. You can tell your interviewer that this is the final approach we have thought about. Only one pass and one iteration we can do whole stuff. So he will definitely be very happy. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you find a little improvement in my videos and my content, please hit a like button and share, subscribe to my channel. And if you want something which is missing in my videos, please let me know in my comments. And if you have a query, please type query directly or just type doubt, and I'll mail you my I'll comment you my email. You can mail me all your doubts. Thank you.